2 words. Concession decree. Since no one knows where the bristlebacks came from, Olvind has taken to blaming the Karja for him. He's hoping to dig up enough old resentments to get a strike going until the concession's signed. This is just his latest attempt. He's been trying to rile up the workers since the day he rolled into town.
And people actually believe him?
Lots of folks suffered at the hands of the Mad King during the Red Raids. Give him half a reason, they'll blame the Karja for anything.
Damn Karja slavers.
Did I know it's National Donut Day? I did not. In Poland and tomorrow. Are you going to partake in a donut? Skuld, Skortel. Skortel. It sort of sounds like a festival, to be honest. Did you know there are 2 of those days in the UK? There really are. I did not know that. No. SK is more like the like Skortel.
So about Olvind.
Around here, everything's about Olvind.
How do
I
you
can't
know
remember the last time I ate a donut.
He got here early, like
Can't,
a
really
squirrel
can't.
smelling a fat nut.
I'm gonna put my
Building
chair
the
back.
Airlight would need
I've been
stone
stood
and
up all
timber.
day.
So he jangled purses all over Mainspring, getting investors to front claims on anything in the Daunt that might be worth a damn. Thing is,
Sounds good, Feb,
all
yeah.
the bankers back home know that this is Karja land, and the Sun King can revoke those claims at any time.
A National
That's
Donut
why he's
Week.
desperate for the magistrate to sign off on a concession decree.
Well, I have to be going. Thanks for the drink, Petra. I'm glad I stopped by.
Anytime, Flamehair.
We had to. I wonder if meeting her there is actually gonna.
Strike. No? Anyone?
Oh, is this the mini game?
Come to revel in some strike, sister? Let me set the board.
I was just passing by.
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go easy on you. You got any pieces?
No.
Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra set, a Tanakh original straight out of the Forbidden West. Sit. I'll run you through it in a hot spark. I'll give you something special if you win it on my boards, too.
Let's do it. Okay. I remember when I was a kid, still living in Ireland, one of the British kids called you Firebrand. Firebrand. That's cool. Lockjaw. Okay. Select. So apparently this is sort of like Warhammer, I'm told. Is that... Wait, is that my... Have I got that? Yeah, okay. There we go. There we go. I did not know Lockjaw was a thing. Let's go.
All right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points.
Okay.
To win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them. You see that number on the top right corner?
Yes.
That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move, how powerful their attacks are, the distance they can strike from,
And the health. Got it.
and of course, their health. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just
The
play.
Elden Ring reviews? Yeah, I know, right?
I own the board, so I
Looks
get to
good,
choose
right?
who's first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go. Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward. And remember, each machine can only move a certain distance. Take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Move that machine forward. It's all part of the learning process.
One, two.
Gotta move that machine forward.
I thought I was, wasn't I? Oh, use up. Right, down, left, move. Tap X to select the terrain it should move to. Oh, am I selecting it? Oh, I have to move it there. Right, there you go.
Easy enough, huh?
Tutorial
You
Island.
get to move 2 machines each round. So go ahead and pick a second machine.
Oop.
Perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so just end your turn. We're forging onwards. Let me move my pieces here. And we're back to you.
Oh, I see. They're
This time,
facing a
why don't
different
you try
way.
attacking one of my pieces. Try with that machine on your right first. Now move the piece close enough. When performing an attack, you'll be testing your machine's combat power against the opponent's.
Okay.
A machine and its own attack power.
Oops.
This board only has grassland terrain, which has no effect on a machine's combat power. And your current machine has 2 points of attack power. So in total, your machine's combat power equals 2 points. Since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0 points of attack power. And just like
Oh.
your machine, it's not affected by grassland terrain. So right now, the difference in combat power between the 2 machines is 2 points. This means your machine can do 2 points of damage to my machine. Did you get all that?
No. No, let's...
Knew you were a smart one. Finish up by attacking my machine. Not pulling any punches, huh? Now grab that second machine of yours. See how your machine can't move close enough to attack mine? You can make your machine sprint. That lets it move 1 space further. Try it out. Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack after a sprint, but it will damage your machine's health by 2 points. So use at your own discretion. Let's try doing that now. So
No.
That's about it for your turn then. Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those and you'll deal a mighty
Oh, I
blow.
see. Okay.
Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine have it. Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move downwards towards my remaining piece. You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece. But if you overcharge your
rotate.
machine, you can attack a second time. And by the look of your machine's health, you'd be sacrificing your piece to defeat mine. But sometimes that can be a good thing.
Okay.
Overcharge your machine to attack mine a second time, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's keep this game going. Overcharge your machine.
I don't wanna. What? I pressed overcharge. Do I have to move it like there?
You gotta attack my machine first.
How? Oh, there you go. It has to be facing it. Okay.
Ain't that a thrill? Now, because your machine was knocked out,
I did tap X, but I think it has to be facing.
Victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're the one attacking, you're gonna receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points first. That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way to end a game in your favor. Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7 victory points this time, but you did destroy all my pieces. That means you're the winner. That wasn't so hard, was it? Just remember to always check for the best terrain to attack from. You'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that. I know it saved my behind in a game or two.
I'll try and remember that.
Oh, before I forget,
Let's go.
these are all my spare pieces. I want the Savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure, but it should be enough to get you in on any strike games you find out there. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique...
Is this going to be like,
in your favor.
what was that game
They'll bring
called?
the right materials to craft you one.
I spent like whole
Or
streams
you
playing
might
it.
find them in the wilds if you're lucky. I know I've lost my fair share of
The
pieces.
dice one?
Night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to
I
help
can't
out new
remember.
strike players. Now, if you feel like playing a real game,
Sorta
I've
like
got
Gwen.
plenty of other boards.
It was in The
I
Witcher
could even
3.
teach you a few more tricks if you're up for
Not
it.
Witcher.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
Was it Assassin's Creed? The dice one. No, I'm never going to remember. I'll remember. If I do remember, I'll say, but let's go. Terrain knockback and tutorial. Oh, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, let's go.
Ah, I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how
Kingdom
to use
Come.
terrain
Yeah, I think it
to
was,
your
maybe.
advantage.
The
This one's got all
it
the
had
different
dice.
terrains you can encounter in a game of Strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory and defeat.
Okay.
Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting an opponent's machine, you compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack. Now, combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power.
+1.
It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together, and your machine has 3 points of combat power.
Okay.
My machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value of 0 points. It's also not attacking, which means their attack points aren't in play. So my combat power is 0. This means your machine can do 3 points of damage. Go ahead. There you go. Now, it can also grab your other piece and... Since it's standing on grassland terrain, this terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack powers since they're defending their position.
Oh, but it has armor.
But they have the higher ground.
Oh,
They're
higher ground.
standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting it. Which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a total of 2 combat power points. If we compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power,
Run away.
you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead.
Oh.
Go ahead, try it out. Ha, see? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage as well.
Interesting.
That's why breaking a machine's defenses is a great way to deal damage to several pieces at once. Useful, right? Okay, now go ahead and end your turn. There's still one more thing I want to show you. All right, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away
Looks like sea.
1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering from me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play.
Okay. What is this one? Machine types and skills. Machine types and skills. Jesus.
Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a machine strike master. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time.
Okay.
With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skills. Let's take a quick look, shall we?
This machine does not have a skill.
All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponents. In other words, its machine type. If you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff.
Show me the stuff.
Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gun. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the piece. Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram type machine. Attack an enemy with it and it'll push the piece backwards. Like this. See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beauty of a piece. A dash type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races. You should also make sure it's able to finish its attack on an empty spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all. Here,
yeah, I think so, fella, yeah.
Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before.
Gallop. When attacking from grassland, gain 1 combat
power. We haven't
power.
even looked at all the machine types yet. But I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do, so I made you a list. It's got all the tips and tricks we talked about, too. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play a real game, just let me know.
Yeah. Do it. Beginner's practice.
This is gonna be fun.
Wait, do I not get to see what she's picked there? It flashed up, I guess. Okay. Time
to make my move.
So she's just got two burrowers, right? Can I make it over to the grass, maybe? I feel like just staying where I am.
Time to get serious.
Sort of waiting for them to come into range.
Board's all yours.
Can I move here and attack? Yeah, 3. Okay. Yeah, because we're not on the grassland. Maybe if I move it there. And then face it up.